Hey, hi guys. This is Arnav from Coding Blocks and एक बहुत बढ़िया वीडियो I have here today. I'll be talking to some interesting people. I don't know if you remember, but this video I had made top funded product based companies hiring in 2020 and मैंने list किया था काफी सारे companies को. And I think the last company that I had mentioned was about
Not even our generation, maybe your
FamPay here,
generation.
right? After that, some developments have happened. So developments that have happened is that FamPay, this company, so they have been growing. They have been hiring a lot of people. They have been adding a lot of users, and I keep seeing FamPay getting mentioned in a lot of news and these blogs and all these tech news everywhere about them growing and everything. So uh, After I mentioned about FamPay on this video, a lot of people applied for jobs and internships to FamPay. And they said that they found about FamPay from the Coding Blocks video. So FamPay reached out to me to say thanks. In fact, they have sent a couple of gifts. I haven't even opened them. So they have sent these as well. There's a very nice message written on one of them which says, "We love your hustle, we love your content, and we love the way you bring us great candidates." So here's a small token wishing you a great 2021. So what I wanted was because I got in touch with them with the founding team at FamPay, उनसे बात भी हुआ जो recruiters हैं वहाँ से उनसे आज भी बात हुआ. तो obviously मतलब they are hiring people. They want great engineers to join them and everything. But I wanted to talk to some of the founding members there and also to somebody who has just joined. तो हम इस वीडियो में हमने बात करी है हरजोत और चिराग से, who are part of the founding team. They are तो उनका जो पूरा founding team है FamPay का, all of them are they are the same batch from IIT. एक साथ पढ़ते थे और कॉलेज में चीज़ें बनाते थे और वहाँ से उन्होंने प्रोजेक्ट्स करते करते they are now they met all of them each other at college. They obviously graduated last year and they've been building this for a year. And I also talked to Samiran. So Samiran जो है वो FamPay पे भी intern है. तो I got together with them and I wanted to talk to them about पीपल हु वर्क इन स्टार्टअप्स. तो क्या कल्चर होता है, क्या एक्सपीरियंस होता है फैम्पे में, कैसा वर्क कल्चर है, क्या नहीं है. स्पेशली जो लोग कोडिंग ब्लॉग्स में वीडियोस देखते हैं, लॉट ऑफ टाइम पीपल हैव दिस क्वेश्चन इन माइंड कि हमें स्टार्टअप में जाना चाहिए या नहीं जाना चाहिए, बड़ी कंपनी में जाना चाहिए, छोटी कंपनी में आना. स्टार्टअप्स का क्या एटमोसफेयर होता है, क्या टेक्नोलॉजी यूज़ कर रहे हैं फैमिली वाले लोग, ठीक है, किस तरह से लोगों को हायर कर रहे हैं. और समीरन जो हाँ अभी इंटर्न है तो उसका क्या एक्सपीरियंस है, उसको क्या चीज़ों पे काम करने को मिला है और उसको 2-3 महीने हुए हैं तो क्या सीखने को मिला है, व्हाट आर द न्यू थिंग्स ही हैज बीन वर्किंग ऑन. तो ये ऑल दीज थिंग्स आई आस्क्ड देम. अनफॉर्चुनेटली वी हैड दिस कॉल और थोड़ा सा शुरुआत के 10-15 मिनट का कंटेंट जो है थोड़ा सा ऑडियो का इशू था तो आई हैड टू कट दैट ऑफ. तो दे टॉक्ड अबाउट हाउ those Chirag and Harjot, उन्होंने कॉलेज के बाद they worked with some other companies like Bolo and all of these, Revigo, I think कुछ फिर वहाँ काम करने के बाद they got in touch again with their college friend Kush and Sambhav. So they said that they were working on FamPay. Y Combinator एक बहुत ही बड़ा स्टार्टअप प्रोग्राम है, तो उसमें दे गॉट टू नो कि अच्छा FamPay Y Combinator में अप्लाई किया एंड दे गॉट इन. तो फिर उनके कॉलेज के ही फ्रेंड्स हैं, बाकी उन लोगों को सबको उठा के लाके उन्होंने स्टार्टअप शुरू किया. दे गॉट फंडेड एंड टू थिंक दैट सच ए यंग टीम है, मेरे से भी यंग है वो लोग, और इतनी यंग टीम एक इतनी बढ़िया प्रोडक्ट बना रही है और इसमें so many people are trusting them with their money and everything. So FamPay is obviously for teenagers, the kind of age group जिनका their parents want to give them pocket money, so parents can get them a fam card and they can recharge pocket money into that and they can use that card to pay. So it's a more digital way to manage the pocket money concept, is what I understood. And I see that a lot of people, more than 5 lakh people are using FamPay. So I seeing them have found it out to be a great startup, the way they are growing, and definitely जो लोग join करेंगे they would have a great experience. So let's get on to the interview part and listen to what Harjot has to say about Android का क्या experience and how people work, and then Chirag has talked about how backend people are working. Okay, so let's get down to the interview. Okay.
So that makes sense. So I would now, I mean, ask a few more questions, which are more, I think, from the perspective. So I think we got a good bit of idea about your journeys and what are you doing at FamPay. But also, I think I have been mentoring people in college for like a long time now. I started that in 2016, and built coding blocks, and then you know. Personally mentored a lot of people. So what I feel is that a lot of people, at least in colleges and all, they are not always very, they feel very secure about, say, joining a startup, or they have some doubts in their mind. And sometimes I have also met people who are good at startup kind of environment. They would pick up a project and take the requirements and immediately start working. So everything is good. I would love to hire such a person, but then they would just for just because, I mean, somebody has told them, or would they have heard this, and they would try and apply for some of the bigger companies as well. And and then sometimes I find people actually go and join, and then they feel frustrated that there is a lot of process, and there is not enough excitement in work, and that also happens. So and then I have my own pieces of advice that I give them, and my my own things that I tell them. But I think coming from you guys as well, and I would want an answer for this from all three of you, because very different experiences you three of you would have. But what would you suggest to people, like taking from your own experience and like other ways as well, like you're growing your own team also as well. So people who are in colleges, why should they take a shot at startups? What are the upsides, and also what are the downsides if you feel like there are? And if they feel scared about joining a startup, why they should or why they should not. What is your take on that? I think any order, maybe you can start with Chirag, and take go all three of you one by one on this. You're mute. Chirag, you're mute.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So when I mentioned that why I wanted to join a startup in the college, I had an idea why I wanted to join a startup. It was I missed out the part where I did my internship in a corporate, and that's when I experienced that I don't want to go in a corporate. It was in Citibank. Yeah. So when I did my intern at Citibank in Pune for 3 months or so, I realized that I did actually nothing there. So being frank about it, I actually was not doing much what I expected. So that's the point when I thought of ki, nahi yaar, I wanted to join a startup and I want to really do something and learn something. And
Yeah.
that was my point. Yeah. I would suggest that for people who are looking to join, either looking to choose where to go, I think they should first try going into a corporate at their intern point in time. I mean, they should look how corporate works, and if they see that they are not a right fit for them, that is not a right fit for them, then they should go for a startup. I mean,
Right.
before even you try a corporate, you cannot judge. You should try both sides, and then only you should judge what suits best for you. Because some people like working a lazy life, or like working a chilled out life, which would be in a corporate. But when you go in a startup, very early stage startup, you have to be very, on the toes every time, kind of thing. So that's a difference between an early stage startup and a corporate. And obviously, learnings are there, and huge
Yeah.
learnings and huge experiences there. But then you also have to be ready about, like, you have to take the responsibility, and you have to take the I mean, there might be not many people to guide you. You have to take the responsibility, and you have to take the initiative to figure out ways on your own and figure out things on your own. So
Right.
that's the kind of thing that differs in a startup and a yeah, or corporate.
Right. No, so that makes sense. I had a similar experience. I had interned at Micromax, so it was back then it was a big company. I think it's like all these Chinese vendors and all have come, and it's not a very big company now, but back then it was a big company, and we were working on some new phone we were about to launch. So while even that project was a little bit exciting, but at least the entire environment of the company was like at 4:59 the office would be filled, and at 5 5:01 p.m. Like, entire office would be empty. It's like I used to think, like, you are working on something and at least you should finish and go. But like people, were not. So I mean, the general ownership towards delivering things was quite missing, and I used to feel like, there is so much discussion and talk and process. This is how we will do it. But
Yes.
and in discussing the how, people just keep forgetting the what we even started off doing, and that does not get done. And I was like,
Yeah.
that is no, I'm not gonna pick up a job. So that
Yeah.
had
So
been the same experience for me.
So picking up on that, just adding one more thing. So when I was in city, my project that was for 3 months, 2.5 months, uh, around 1 month and 20 days or something, we worked on just discussing how to do that project. And in the next 10 or 15 days, we actually did the project. So
Right.
and so now, so that is a comparison between there and here. In Sampe, what we do is we discuss it right now. Like today, if we discuss something, we would be implementing it the night, and next day we would be testing it and making it live for 100 million people or 10
Yeah.
million people, something like that. This is the difference between there and here. So there is
Right.
a lot of huge, due to corporates, a lot of people involved, a lot of processes are there, and
Yeah.
everyone goes through their turn, and then approvals are required and everything. So that's a difference, yeah.
Right, right, right. So Harjot, what about you? Your experience
Yeah.
and advice for people with the same question in mind.
So starting off, like in the starting, it was really similar to what Chirag said. Like I interned at Goldman Sachs, like the biggest of corporate that can exist.
Right.
So on my floor, there were 1,000 people. Okay. So within 1 week, I gave up. Like I cannot work here. Like this is not what I want. Like for the past 2 years, I've been working on my own personal projects, and I got the gratification from like giving it to users, their feedback and everything. Okay. And now
Right.
like they gave me like some numbers, some Excel sheets, and create graphs. Like I didn't know where would that fit in the company's vision. Why is it even required? Maybe I didn't have interest in finance directly. Maybe that's why. But still, like the work was not what I expected. Okay.
Right.
So after that, just after like completing my uh, internship at Goldman Sachs, 5 days later I joined Bolo.
Right.
Okay. So after that, I've been working in Bolo directly. Okay, and that was like literally that was the turning point. Like working in a corporate, you feel like how different, how much less, how low of an impact you can create. Like that's the fear that I had. Like my work won't be recognized. Like literally last night I was talking to a junior, and he talked to me like he was like he just joined last year and he was thinking of switching to a startup because same thing. Like there is no impact of the work. Like
Right. Right. Right.
no one like 2 levels above does not even know my name. Like why am I even doing that? Okay,
Right.
so and one thing you mentioned, like the people in college, the students in college, they have a fear. Like the fear is actually like there is a lot of parental pressure as well. Okay, so
Right.
like my parents have been really supportive of my adventures in the startup world. But like there was a point when I was in Bolo and I told my father like I won't be sitting for placements in the college. Okay,
Right.
he supported my CCA, but still like there is one thing like are you sure like because it's a big risk like in the Indian society like it's a big risk. Job security is a very big thing in India. Okay,
Right.
the fear that he was mentioning about the students, like the fear they have, a lot of that like a lot of that is rooted in job security and parental pressure as well. So actually,
That's
what
true. That's true.
exactly, and what Chirag mentioned is like you have to like experience both to decide. Like,
Right.
for some people, corporate life is the best. Like they cannot like they want that corporate life and they want to gain ranks within the corporate.
Right.
Okay. And for some, like it's like I want to build a product that goes into the hands of like a million people.
Startup में you can't gain ranks because there are no ranks. Like you
Exactly,
guys found out
exactly,
it does. That's it. The company khatam.
exactly. So, so that's something.
Right. So what about you, Samiran? So, there would be more people in your peer group, just maybe a
Yeah.
year junior and all. They would have similar questions in their mind. Why did, of course, you go for a startup? And in the introduction and all, you just said that you felt like you don't want to work in a corporate as well. Was it similar? Like, did you go for a corporate and then you found out that it does
No,
not
no,
suit you?
no.
So
No, no.
you figured it
Fortunately,
out
I didn't
without
have
that.
to go through that. Yes, yes. So the thing is, I mean, I think both Chirag and Harjot have hit the nail. But uh, I was actually struggling with something similar from a very early point. In my second year, one of the startups we started failed miserably. And at that point, I was very confused as to what I wanted to do. Because that's about so there's this beautiful book by Simon Sinek called Start With Why. It's a philosophy that everything that an organization or a person does has a why, a vision at the core of it, and everything that the company does follows that vision, be it consciously or subconsciously. So when I was confused back in my third year and I read this book, I realized that more than trying to go out there and find what I like outside, I need to figure out what I want from inside. And I did figure out why, my why basically. And I would, so since then I was just looking for a place where my why would fit with the company's vision. And that's when I realized that in a corporate, like Harjot already said, in a corporate there is no way that my why even matters to them. And there is no way I'd even see my why realize in what the company is doing.
Yeah.
So I feel that in the corporate, you're too far away from the core vision of the company to actually affect it or to synchronize with it. So if I was giving advice to someone in college, I would say that depending on how passionate you are about the work you do, about what you are good at,
Right.
you should choose what kind of job you want. In fact, I think this is a good time to make a confession. I don't know how to do competitive coding. I have never done competitive coding in my life. I did not sit for placements and I was decided from my second year itself. I mean, it's not required. I think it's a very big myth. I mean, I have seen juniors. I've seen my own my own peers suffer so much. Uh, Placements are coming up 3 months before that. They start skipping classes to do competitive coding exercises. It's not required. If you're passionate about what you do, you'll find your place.
Nice, nice, nice. By the way, coming to a very different kind of a topic, I think people who would be looking at this interview would be interested in knowing, and I had not covered it till now, is so what's the tech stack at FamPay, and like what technologies are you using? And so some of the times, why I'm asking is just because some of the times people just hear, okay, these people, they're making a fintech company, bank and all, must be using C# or Java or something like that. Even at Zomato, like a lot of our infrastructure was powered by PHP, and people would not believe that. But it's there. It's a big monolith of the listings. It's just not possible at that scale to just change it to a better tech just because we want to. I mean, there are points. So, I mean, that's a case of legacy as well. You are just getting started. But either way, I think it's always interesting to, see an app or a website that everybody knows about, but then also getting to know what is behind it. So what's your tech stack like, when both like backend, front end, what all you're using?
Yeah. So currently in backend, we have majorly built up in Django, Python, Django framework. So that's what we were most comfortable with. I believe that whatever we are most comfortable with, we should start with that. As soon as we
Right.
start facing problem or something, then we can scale up to another stick or we can learn another thing. But since we are in a
Right,
startup
right.
and we have a requirement like we have to deliver by next week or something, then it is better to start with what you already know and not
Correct.
figure out something else. That's good. So that's why that's the main reason why we started with Django. And
Right.
talking about scale at Django, so I can name a few companies as big as Instagram that still uses Django at their core.
Right.
Instagram is a very big company and has served a millions and millions of people over Django. So not it's not just about, I mean, the tech stack that we're using, it cannot scale or something or that. If you build it if you build the system is built for scale, it will run at scale, be it in
Right.
any language, be it in Java, be it in Golang. So main crux or main core and the main microservices that we have are in Django, Python. Apart from that, we also have started 2 more microservices, one in Node.js in Express server and one in Golang. Uh, Apart from that, these are the languages that we use mostly. Apart from that, in backend, all our tech stack is deployed on AWS. We heavily use AWS infrastructure for that.
Right.
Postgres for databases and Redis for caching and stuff.
Right.
And all the deployments are handled by GitLab CI/CD.
Nice.
So we have built kind of pipelines on all setup kind of things so that we can
Right.
automate things. We like to automate as much as we can to minimize the manual effort required. And since we currently don't have a DevOps team, we are a very short team in the backend system also. So we are only managing the systems in production at scale, and we are also developing them, and we are coding
Yes.
new things and maintaining the previous ones also.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
And what
about
about
backend.
front end?
Yeah, so front end, so I'll start with Android. So like Chirag mentioned that whatever you're most comfortable with, we should start with that. So I was like, I had coded in Java for like 4 years now. So I started with Java, and like the Kotlin was coming up at that time. So our Android code base is in 90% Java and 10% in Kotlin. Apart from that, the whatever frameworks we use, like all the basic modern frameworks of Android that are there, we use them directly. The major thing that we also use is Firebase, like Firebase for messages, Firebase for config, Firebase for data store, and everything. Then coming to iOS, we use SwiftUI directly. I don't know the exact basics, but there is two like Objective C and SwiftUI. So
Yeah.
we started with SwiftUI there. That has been also a big learning. That's a story for another time. And in web app, we have used React completely,
Right.
nothing else.
Okay. Okay. Nice. So and talking about something else. So you guys, you're a very young company, and you guys are also very young, and there are hundreds, millions of people who are and will be using your product, and they are obviously at the end of the day trusting you. In terms of like any other place, they would be trusting you with their information, but here they're also trusting you with money as well. It's, there are payments, and you're a card provider. So obviously, like for you guys, obviously security is very important. Like it's some hidden burden in your head all the time whenever you're making financial products. And I had seen that, at least the payments team that used to in any company that I've worked in, like the people who deal with payments, those departments are also always thinking in the same terms. So what generally, like at a very early stage, like keeping all the things in mind, like you can't invest millions of dollars into just having a security team as such, because you're a small team and a small company, you have to build the product as well. So there is that pressure as well, and there is also the basic due diligence that anybody in the financial domain has to do. So what's your how do you go about the balancing act, and what's your approach towards security?
Yeah, so approach towards security, I would say that we initially had no idea how to begin, where to go, but we got help from our seniors. So our seniors are mostly in Razorpay. Razorpay is a big startup in the fintech industry, and
Right.
those are from Razorpay guys are from our own college, IIT Roorkee. They are graduates. So we knew quite a few of them, and we got help from them initially when we started. We asked them how they secure their systems, and what should we do as a early stage startup, what should we do at this stage. So we got a help from those people, and we also had help from many other I would say people who were ready to help us at the early stage. So those people told us that how should be security be done, and that is how we implemented the security in first place.
Right.
Regarding all that other things, so there are compliances and checks that are basically on periodically basis. We have to have with the bank. So the compliances and all that things are to be done as per the RBI
Yeah,
guidelines.
that's
We cannot
compulsory.
skip
Yes.
that. Yeah. So those things are there in place, and that's what takes care of the security.
Okay. By the way, just rewinding back to the last question that I had asked about what tech stack and all that you're using. So, say for example, somebody who knows Django and they're applying for an intern here, or somebody who knows, Android or iOS, and they're applying for some internship or even for full-time roles there. So, I think this is a question that a lot of people do have in their minds is like कितना आना चाहिए मेरे को मतलब people start learning and they make like say to do MVC kind of a thing they make or they चलो DV से connect भी कर लिया and all of that but like I feel the learning phase with students what often happens is like a mismatch of their learning and their confidence. Like some people are way too confident compared to what they know. And like when you interview them you figure that out, but also there are a lot of people who know a lot and then they are very underconfident, and then sometimes I meet such people and I look at the projects and I'm like, why are you not applying to some of those bigger startups? You can actually go and get a job in those, and they're like abhi to kuch kiya hi nahi hai. So that because nobody has validated what they have done till now, they just start doing things that they find out and they search what projects we can do, they find an idea they're trying to do. But coming from you people are hiring people, you're adding people to the team, and you're judging people based on. So let's just say start with say the backend part itself. So with Django, what do you say, like what how much about the Python language, what kind of projects that person might have done in Django, what kind of deployment and all, what stuff they kind of need to know, where you'd have a good time talking to them in the interview in the first place, and then feel like you want to hire such a person.
Yeah. So to answer that, first of all, we don't actually see how much he has done, but we actually see how much he wants to do. So that is the
Okay.
main criteria to judge. And even if he has not done much, even if he has not got much experience till now, but if he wants to learn, if he has the zeal to learn, we are ready to accept. But that passion must be shown. I mean, that is the
Okay.
requirement. Apart from that, of course, there is some, I mean, barrier to us also, because people should know beforehand before coming to the company, as we don't have enough bandwidth to explain and I mean to
Yeah.
handhold and teach them everything. So they must know things from their own end. Even if they don't know, they should learn by themselves and then apply. That is what we want. So by
Right.
how much that they should know, I mean, if they have already worked in some early stage startup, they would know a lot. I mean,
Right.
if they have already worked as an intern in some early stage startup, or if they've seen how things go in an early startup, that is more than enough.
Right. And like what about apps and all? So
Yeah.
any criteria did
So,
you have?
like I have not qualified to answer for iOS, but for Android, like something that I already mentioned, like the personal projects and internships are one thing that I always look for, and GSOC obviously. So, like
Right.
if the person has done some personal projects and released it on Play Store,
Right.
or maybe work with a small startup or a small team and release that app on the Play Store, and it is live, basically something that is live for everyone. If a person has
Yeah.
done that, that is a very big plus. Apart from that, if
Yeah.
there is if this is not done, apart from this, personal projects and the scale of the personal projects, how much they have, how many features there are, like how big the project is basically. So
Right.
that is something I look for, because managing a huge code base is like something else from writing a small feature.
Right.
Management is also a very big part.
Right.
Yeah, I
Makes
think that covers it. Yeah.
and so a different format of that question to Samir. So in these few months that you are here, what all technologically speaking, what new stuff that you have learned in these months that you did not know before you had started?
Okay. So unfortunately, I used to think I know. The thing is, most of the mistakes I make right now are really stupid, and it's very embarrassing sometimes. Like Chirag is taking code reviews, and he says you can just use the debugger, and I know I can just use the debugger, but the print statement is so much easier. But but it's stuff like that. I think more than what I have learned technologically, it's about how to do what I already know right. What's the right
Right.
way of doing what I already know? And
Okay.
more than that, I think I've got a good taste of DevOps, and I think every good backend engineer should know DevOps, at least the basics, because
Right.
uh, yeah, because we don't have a DevOps team, but if we did have a DevOps team, just one DevOps person is never enough. I mean, if the backend engineer does not understand the requirements of of what it takes to be deployed, for their software to be deployed, it's not enough. Basically, just a DevOps person. So yeah, that, and more than just that, I think I've not started yet, but I really want to get into Golang. And when we started the Golang server at FamPay, that was my that was the green signal that now is my time to start moving out of just Django. So yeah,
Right.
so I think it's what I already knew. I haven't had a chance to change much, but I've had a chance to improve on that. And apart from that, there's a lot of new avenues that I'm hoping to explore here at FamPay.
Okay, cool. Coming to that about the Golang part and Node.js part, I would like to ask Chirag, though I think it will make for a good answer as well. Is so these two services, why are you making in Node and Go? So you said that wherever you find a technical need, you do switch to a different framework when needed. So what exactly was the need that you are building in Go and Node.js, these two new services? Not why these are also not in Django.
Yeah, so talking about that, so the service in Golang, we made it for notification purpose, basically for all the notifications that are sent out from the system, be it SMS, be it email, be it WhatsApp message, or be it push notification. All that are sent through. I mean, we have planned it to divide it into a separate service rather than sending it from the main code base itself. So we wanted to separate it out because the main code base that we have in the one service that we have that is too big to handle this kind of stuff now, and changing a simple thing could impact the transaction, the core part of the app, the transaction.
Right.
So we wanted to distribute it into multiple microservices, and then we thought out yeah, we should start in a separate service. Now thinking about what tech stack to use in a separate service, we considered a few options, and then we thought ki, since in Golang it is easier to build, I mean, multiple threads, and it is faster to implement multiple threads since it is directly on C, and the coroutines in Go is much faster than the threads in Python. So
Right.
we figured that we should start with Go, and we had a bit of expertise in our team with Golang also, so we shifted to Golang for this specific service. So based on the use case, we try to implement things on the different framework. And one thing, the added advantage I want to add here, that what startups offer and what corporates do not, is that if you feel like you can do something in a separate service, or if you feel like you can do something in a out of I mean, no one's expertise is there, and you want to try out new things, then it is more freely, it can be done in a startup environment
Right.
rather than in a corporate, because in corporate you have to take a lot of approvals. I have been in city, and I had to take a lot of approval just to use a single library in Python, in my Python code. So
Right.
it took me 1 month to take the approvals, just to take the approvals to use a single library. And here at in a early stage startup in FamPay or any early stage startup, you would have the flexibility and freedom to start your own thing. And if it works out, then it will be I mean, implemented for all. It's like that. So if you take the initiative and you want to explore, you can do.
Okay, nice. Good. So we have discussed a lot of tech. So some fun question answer now about what I think a lot of people are interested in is what does the life of a developer look like, and so what does the life of a developer at FamPay look like, and I will go one by one with you guys. So this will be like a set of small questions. I think maybe I can maybe say start with Harjot here. So what time do you usually get up, and how much time are you spending on working on FamPay stuff, and what else do you do in the day apart from this, even if you
Uh,
do?
okay, so like I usually go to sleep by 4. Like if I like take out the average for the past 1 year, I go to sleep around 4 a.m. and I wake up at 2. Like 10 hours of sleep is like must for me. Like I will compress all my work into the rest 14 hours, but 10 hours of sleep I need. I won't sacrifice my sleep for work. That is
Got it.
something that I never do from the college
Okay.
days. Okay.
Right.
Working, like there can be workload, like one day there can be workload like we have to like wake up for 24 hours straight and we have to work something, like we have to release it. Like I had to go on a trip like recently, so I had to work like 10 days straight without any break, and I had to like complete that because that is very important. Like we have to make it live. Then I took a
Definitely.
vacation for 10 days. So apart from that, like yeah, directly 10 hours sleep, I think 10 to 12 hours of work. And apart from that, I really enjoy like racing games. So I have a racing simulator at home.
Oh, nice, nice,
So
nice.
I spend a lot of time on that as well. Apart from that, movies, TV shows, like every day we have been rewatching Game of Thrones right now, me and Anchit.
Right.
So every day during lunch, we started from 3-1, I think. Right now we are at 6-4. We have rewatched it completely during our lunch hours.
Nice, nice. And like, when do you have your meetings and all? Then in the evening, I guess.
No, meetings can be at any time actually. Like the stuff, the meetings with everyone else, like with the whole team, it takes place
Yeah.
between 2 p.m. and 9 p.m. Okay. And the
Okay.
actual things that we need to discuss within ourselves, like me, Anchit, Chirag, Kush, that takes place from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m.
Right. No. That's perfectly fine. I have a meeting at 12 with my team of people. So like they are all many of them are actually ex-coding blocks now. They're not even coding blocks, but we are building a new product. So if it gets built, you guys might get to know. But yeah, so we have a 12 a.m. call for that. So yeah, that's that's how it happens. Yeah.
Apart from that,
Nice.
a thing that I think people might overlook is that we work on Saturdays. That's not like very common for
Oh, but
corporates and startups as well.
at the stage that you are, I guess, like, and for founding members, I think you probably work on Sundays as well.
Yeah, no, for us, no. I was like pointing this out to like all the people that will be watching, and then sometimes the people that like interview with us, and this is a huge shock to them actually. For some people, actually, like we work on Saturdays as well, like officially work. For us, it's like wherever we have laptop, it's our
And
working.
we used to say work days or work hours, and sometimes for me it used to be a little difficult to answer because there was no answer to that because
Yeah, exactly.
you guys are all working remotely now because the entire last year has been remote. But say for example, when we started Coding Blocks, that was when we actually had a physical office, but it was not even compulsory to come to office, right? I mean, every day, and if there is like a very important architectural discussion to happen, then we just sometimes we used to be like just call everybody like chal aadhe ghante mein aa jao office, we will come and discuss that. But there is no concept of work days because there's no concept of leaves either. So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
more like somebody says, okay, next week I will be on a trip, so this week I will finish my work and next week I will be on trip. So it's not like you took 4 days off or 5 days off. It's not about that. It's about things need to be done and things need to be released. So
Yeah,
that, and when something explodes, then you should be available to fix
yeah,
it. So
exactly.
that is
That is actually also point that we look during interviews. Like I think Chirag mentioned, like if something that you worked on it, like it breaks at 2 a.m., like we should be able to call you, like we should be able to reach you. Like what did you exactly do? Yeah,
Yeah. No, so as for example, at an enterprise job, there are so many processes around these kind of things. So it's like, there would be dedicated on-call people, and also like in general works. For example, I am working right now in my day job at a very big MNC, it's Target. And there, I think if I actually turn off my phone and all at 6 p.m. and then turn it on back at 10 a.m., it'll not be a problem at all.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
nobody
But
nobody
we
will
can't
touch
do
phone
this.
at me at
We
that time.
can't. Like just
It's
before the call, I was trying to reach Samiran actually. Just before
yeah.
and his phone was switched off. I didn't know what to do. Like I need you right now. The server is down. I need you right now. What should I do?
So going on to Samiran, so what's your schedule like when you get up, and what kind of breaks and all do you take, how much you're working, and what do you do apart from work?
So I think everyone is at a consensus here that there's no such thing as work hours, work days, and in fact, like I said before in the beginning as well, it's basically a university club taken to the next level. There's no dedicated work hours or anything of that sort. So the thing is, when I started FAMPE, the day I started, they told me that Saturday is working. Honestly, I didn't have a problem with that. That was fine. But that was also the time that I was trying to fix my health, because the whole of the quarantine has been kabhi bhi so kabhi utho, and I wanted to fix my timetable, and I was like, I'm gonna sleep at 12, I'm gonna wake up at 7 and go out jogging, and all of that
How
got
has that
decided.
gone
It's a very sensitive topic, but the first week I tried, the first week went well, and now it's just अरे कोई problem नहीं. So the thing is, I think Chirag is probably the prime example for having no work hours. I have never seen him go to sleep. Like, he's never said, "अच्छा चलो आज सो जाते हैं, कल बात करेंगे." It's never been like that. It's like the one time that I saw him say that, it just happened once in 2 months, and that was at 5:30 a.m. And that also because he had a meeting tomorrow that he had to get up for. So, like I said before, you have to be passionate about the product. And I think if you're that, it doesn't matter. You don't need work hours. It just, if you have your laptop, you're working. It's like that.
Okay, and so coming to Chirag, so Chirag ka sun to liya hai, but still, so like, what time do you generally go to sleep? When do you wake up? And like, what time do you have your meetings and all? And apart from work, what else do you do? When do you get time for that?
Yeah, so I usually work late night. I get up at 1 p.m. or like 2 p.m. most of the time. Sometimes 1 p.m. because we have a meeting starting from 1 p.m. on like alternate days. So
Right.
1 p.m. I have to wake up. It's like that key. I just wake up at 12:55 or 12:50 and then start the meeting directly at 1. And
Right.
that's what the beginning of my day is. And I go to sleep around almost around 4 a.m. or something normally. So most of the times I'm working till 4, or I mean I take breaks in between, but yeah,
Right.
it's kind of like anytime I'm available for anything. And we have a kind of open culture here at Fampe. Like, anyone can see anyone's calendar if it's free, and then just block a calendar or directly call. So
Right.
it's not like you have to schedule it one day before and something like that. You just 15 minutes after, you can book a meeting and just get on a call with that person. So it's like
Sure.
that. And apart from that, in the free time, I heavily watch TV series. So I'm a big fan of TV series. I have watched many of TV series. If you want recommendations, I would be able to give one. So so yeah, that is what I do at my free time in the yeah. Before this lockdown went, in when we were in Bangalore today, right now I'm in at my home, but before we were in Bangalore, we used to go for like walks, and we used to maintain health also. So we used to go for playing badminton and stuff, but that is all now past us. Maybe now when we are back in Bangalore with friends and all, then I can start that again. Yeah.
Yeah. I heard about the fam villa thing. So having a thing like that is, I mean, that's the worst thing I believe about the pandemic for startups. I mean, working from home has a lot of advantages, and I think a lot of people are even more productive as well doing that. But for example, at Coding Bros, also initially we had this room which had like mattresses for sleeping as well. We had a room to eat, and like there was a part of the office which was meant for living, not just for working, because people used to stay there, and
Yeah.
a bunch of the initial stuff could not even have been made and released if we had not worked like that. And sometimes we used to have like a lot of the content of the course is ready, but we need to create the quizzes, and we have to say deploy a new kind of testing model and all. So even like the interns, we like ask them, okay, stay over, and then everybody stays over, and then we watch maybe a movie on the projector,
Yeah.
and order like over order like more than we can eat from some late night place, and then we work the whole night, and then in the morning at 7 or 8 a.m. when the somebody would come to open the office and clean and all and stuff, and we would be finally releasing stuff. Then okay, ho gaya, ab release karte hain.
This has gone many a times at Famila. So Famila, we have a family of kind. It's like a family, and we stay together most of the times in there. Since now, due to the pandemic, we were not able to join at Famila. So most of our team that joined in the last year, I mean, we started building our team in February and so on. So 80% of the team hasn't been to the Famila yet, and that's a big disadvantage that we had. But we were able to bring all of them to the same page and to the same belief that what we are doing actually matters and how we are helping people. So we were able to bring that to that level. And talking about the things that you talked about, ki we order a lot of food and more than we can eat, and watching TVs and TV series and movies and stuff. So we used to do that thing when we were in Bangalore in last year. We were actually building the product for the first time in around September. So we thought that in around September we started, and we thought that it would take around 2 weeks to build the whole product. That was the mentality at that
ये
time.
याद है
कि we
मुझे
will stick, we
9
will stick
days
to
बोला
it.
तूने तूने 9 to 10 days बोला था 2 weeks भी नहीं बोला था bro.
Yeah. So it was like we will build a whole payment infrastructure in 9 to 10 days. It's just like that. And when we actually started building, then we faced the really challenges over, I mean, with the bank and with the banking partners that we have. So all that challenges that we faced, the licenses that we had to get from RBI and stuff. So that took a lot of time. But yeah, so that was a really fun part of working
But
in a
at
very early
startups,
stage.
you start working on things. If you tell like that's the scope of what we want to build, and you talk about it a big MNC, they would say that it will take 2 years to build something like this, and uh, we will have to start with one small component today, and it's all it actually does take 2 years kind of thing. So, for example, at Target and all, we had implemented our own chatting mechanism for support, and I had been looking at the Jira and all docs. So the first draft of the doc was written in 2018 and it was released in 2020, and not at a very early stage startup, but at Zomato something like this was made in 3-4 months, and compared to like if we had to build it at a place like Coding Blocks, we would actually do it in again, like if I have to give an estimate today, also been so many years seeing so many places and seeing tech at so much scale, I would again give an estimate of 2 weeks, because that's the estimate that you start with, and then only it can be done in like maybe 2 months. If you think it's going to take 2 months, it will not get done in 2 months. When you start with the energy of doing it in 2 weeks, then only it does get done, and that's the exciting part. So definitely, yeah. And I
And
remember like in the initial days we used to be like when like the small team of the tech team, like me and my friend from college, he was the CTO, and then we had just some interns and all, and all night sometimes we used to go to the roof and we used to drink a few beers and all, and then we used to release in the morning and we were all drunk, and I think after 3-4 times, once we released when we were sober, and वही फट गया, and we were like नहीं भाई ये नहीं, sober नहीं release कर सकते दिक्कत हो जाती है.
Talking about examples from our life, so the Razor Pay integration or the whole payment gateway integration, wallet load integration that we did, we were actually having to make it live on 14 November. 14 November is the Children's Day on 2019. 14 November 2019. Yeah.
19.
Yeah, so that's what we had, the deadline that we have to make it live by 14 November, and we will be launching on 14 on the Children's Day. We targeted that, and we were working that on the whole night. I mean, on 13th and 14th, we were working 2 nights straight, and we finally released on 14 November 9 a.m. We were ready with the final product, final thing, and we were so happy that satisfaction that it gives you, it's beyond comparison. I mean, you cannot express that.
That's true. That's true.
मुझे
So
comment
like
messages
after
याद है
putting in
अपने.
this kind of effort, when it goes live and the first traffic hits, and like you look at open the logs or something, and it's like, okay, people are actually using it, and it's like, oh shit, it worked.
Yeah.
The thing that Chirag mentioned, the whole payments system, we had to refactor that as well, like a month later. So we woke up like whole night, and I remember my last commit message for that feature. Like we have to refactor all the payment aspect to the new models. And I remember I should not say it here, but like it was a very, very bad commit message. I was actually looking. I like a few weeks ago, I was looking at that code, and that code has not changed like for 6 months. So I'm looking at the commits in the Android Studio itself, and I was scrolling. I think, why is this commit message in all caps? And then I remembered, oh, it's that night.
Yeah, like early stage, the early stage commit history also speaks a lot about the experience of the team. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I will be coming around to I like we had discussed. I think there were a bunch of other topics we would definitely love to talk about them as well. But like say for example today, going towards wrapping things up, I would want to just go to all three of you one by one and say you guys want people to join your team, and that's also one of the things that why we were discussing this. So what would you say to pitch this to people who great developers who might be looking at a lot of different options that they have? Why do you think somebody should come and they join at a FamPay? And what like I want a very personal answer from all three of you. So I think obviously not the kind stuff that is there on your careers page or what Chitra would say, but something that from your personal experience, why should somebody come and what is that they would gain, and so a pitch for that. So maybe Chirag, you can go first.
Yeah. So, my personal pitch would be if you are really interested to build something for the Gen Z, for the teens, for 18 minors, and I mean, you can relate to, I mean, if you can relate to the thing that we're building, like if you have experience in your childhood that you wanted some kind of payments app that you had, and you did not have to ask for parents' money, if you believe in that idea, if you believe in that journey, then you should definitely join us and you should contribute with us. And from the things that you would gain is a family, since the name says it all, FamPay, that is family. So we are all a family. We are a very short family, and you will gain the love and trust of a family.
Nice. So what about you, Harjot? So message for people who
So
want to join.
I think I won't pitch FamPay as such. I would pitch all the early stage startups directly. So like it's fun. Like basically it's fun. Like it's not monotonous. You have a new challenge every day. You learn about like new things, new aspects of a large pipeline every day. Like I
Right.
know stuff from manufacturing of the card boxes to how the advertisements are being run. Like the
Right.
whole spectrum I know. So if you want something like that, you don't want to be like a monotonous 9 to 5 job. Like you don't know why you are even doing your stuff. Like you don't know even the people, how many people are using your product, how many people are benefiting from your product. If you don't want that, like if you want, like you want to know, like yes, my product like changed lives or like helped 100 people or even 10 people. Like if
Right.
that's something that interests you, like then early stage startups are way to go.
Nice answer. And what about you, Samiran?
I'm going to go a little philosophical on this because this was actually a very big, a deciding point for why I joined FamPay. So, like I mentioned before, that I've basically built my life philosophy around start with why. And um, when I eventually did figure out why I was doing whatever I was doing, it was because I wanted to help those people who can't help themselves, and that was my core belief. And I had my past as to why that's the case, but I don't think that's important right now. What is important is when I was introduced to FamPay, FamPay pitched its vision as developing a financially educated generation of Indians, and that's a good pitch. Okay, sure, but what really hit me was that these are kids, these are children who don't even know that they need help. Like you don't know the importance of money, so you don't bother with it. Like when you reach 21, when you start earning yourself, and you realize how much it was worth, all the years that you've spent not understanding that you're getting money and you're wasting it, or let's not call it wasting it, but irrespective. My point being that I think that the Gen Z currently does not know that they need the help that they're getting from us, from FamPay. And if you're the kind of person who believes in helping people, uh, who believes in helping people who can't help themselves, or don't even know that they need help, basically, if you want to be a person who makes an impact, who might make an impact in someone's life so huge that it changes the course of their life, because we are dealing with people, we are dealing with situations where if we do it the right way, we'll be changing lives, and not we'll be changing huge amounts of lives. So I think if you want to make an impact, FamPay is the way to go.
Good. So that's quite profound in that sense, but also looking back, somebody who might have been part of Paytm in their, level zero or basement or ground, first story of Paytm.
Yeah.
So now it's a skyscraper, but people have been part of the journey from there. It obviously it impacts you. You take a train through some rural areas, and there are street vendors with a Paytm sign in front of it. So people who have been there from at that point, that's the level of impact that they have been able to do. So yeah, I mean, while it does sound philosophical, but then if everything falls into place, that's what people can do if they join something like this. So very, very good answer. And also, if you want to be nervous about things breaking apart in production right from day one. Because I think at least for interns, I know so many of my friends who interned at like the bigger companies, and then they used to play football in office, and they would have, say, some cultural event in office, and like they would spend 3 months in office and come back and like, what did you do? So my co-founder Pratik, he had interned at SanDisk in college time. He's like, पूरे internship में मैंने एक script लिखा जिससे pen drive format होता है. I was like, सही है bro.
Yeah.
So yeah. Compared to that, what you can experience at a place like this, that's definitely great. So thank you guys for taking out your time, and hopefully इतनी देर में Sentry पे ज़्यादा messages आए नहीं होंगे. So go back to building FamPay, and maybe we will again meet together and discuss more things. And all the best for growing your tech team. And I really hope that the people who watch this video first of all obviously learn about these experiences, and then you guys also get some awareness, and you're able to add release some more rockstar developers into your team.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you for the call. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So good night then. Have a nice day.
Sure. Yeah. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.